When you turn it around, you're being Renaissance. When you turn it around, we're living up to our name, Unity Renaissance. We're revolving, we're turning it around, we're revolving, we're evolving. In consciousness, we are free. We are unlimited. Every single component of this service is speaking the same message. We are pulling all the threads together into a conversation. What are we putting into our pool of awareness as the creator of our experience? We've been having a conversation that is restoring us to our divine identity. We do it every time we pray. We do it every time we practice the pause and take a breath. We do it every time we remember that what we're seeing and beholding and experiencing and perceiving, anytime we're looking out there and we think that's the cause, we pause, we take a breath, we turn to prayer, we turn it around. And in that turning around, we turn within to the divine identity. We've been speaking it all month. I'm going to invite you, we're going to attune it together. I am. I am. Please speak it if you wish. I am. I am as God created me. I am spirit. I'm unlimited and free. Sure, I'm having a human experience. I chose it. I chose it so I could learn to turn it around. Oh, you guys are good. That was a big one. I chose it so I could remember. My life, just as it is, and just as it isn't, is perfect. Everything is for my good, is for me, not against me. Of my own self, I need do nothing. There's a power and presence within me that does all things. Take a breath. And now claim, God and I are one. That's the truth. Breathe here. Shift in the seat. Sit up a little bit taller, maybe lean in a little bit, some sort of movement to indicate that something has shifted and happened, that somehow in some way, individually and collectively, we've turned around in this moment. And we have claimed to be what we already have been, the creator of our experience, but we begin to create consciously from this moment further. Say, from this moment on, I choose to be alive, awake, and aware to what I am creating. Take a breath. Feel that. So the teaching illustration is that the ocean is representing the all that is, that which I call God, God consciousness, the creator, source, substance, supply. The wave that extends from that ocean is the individuation, the individualized expression of God as each and every one of us. We are a wave to the self-same ocean of the all that is. Meaning, if we were to take a drop of the ocean and a drop of you under a microscope, we would see the same building blocks, the same substance. We are not different than that which created us. How could we be? That makes no sense. So, I'm not saying that we're all that God is, but I am saying the drop of the divine that we are is endowed with the qualities of the Creator. And we can avail ourselves and choose that in any given moment. And so when we're walking around, when we're sleepwalking, when we catch ourselves walking asleep, and remember, there's no safety in that. There's no accident that there's a whole lot of zombie movies out there, right? It's illustrated, it's reflecting back in a sleep state of consciousness. And there's no safety in that, and what we're being asked to do is just to become aware. But we're asked to become aware without judging ourselves. That's the trick. No judgment. Remember, beloved, holy child of God, your innocence is assured, now and always. You can think you messed up in some way. You can think you failed in some way. You can think somebody did something to you to have you question your divinity, but it doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean that anything can diminish who we are. Now you might think, well, we'll walk around all full of ourselves. Well, I'm going to say, yeah, let's walk around a little bit full of our God self, with humility, to allow the ego self to take the back seat, so that the Christ of your being can take the lead and guide. So, as a wave to the ocean, we're free in every moment to turn things around, to turn it around, to pause, to stop, and ask ourselves, what am I creating? The second illustration that we have is depicted here. It's the idea that every thought that we think, every feeling, the energy tone that we have, the ideas, the belief system that we're operating from is like a pebble. It's like a pebble that we're dropping into the crystal clear pool of our awareness. Now, last week, I shared about that every time we're dropping a pebble into that pool of awareness, it's rippling out. It ripples out and it returns to us. It creates an energetic field that is attractive. And so what we tend to put into our field of awareness is also what we tend to attract to us. It's a reflective universe. These are all really basic unity principles taken to the point of a commitment to living them. Moment by moment, thought by thought, breath by breath. And so that's what we're doing here. And I promised you last week that I would talk about what to do with those ripples that we don't like in our lives. And it's already been embedded in the music. We have the power to turn it around. It was in the reading that we can look at it with innocence, not judgment. And we can remember the spiritual principle that our lives are our curriculum. Self-created. I know there's a voice inside you that says, I didn't create it, not this. I'll take responsibility for all this, but not this over here. It's that exception that you're taking out, the exception that we're making, that we bring to the forefront now. Because I guarantee you, whatever we're placing outside of these principles is exactly the next step in our awakening. And I am going to share with you that the ripples that we complain about, that we gossip about, that we judge over and over and over and over again, have an effect. It has an effect individually in our lives, and it has an effect in our communities. It matters. Our consciousness matters. It doesn't mean that we're not agents for change. It means that we're stopping believing that an effect has power over us, that can disturb our peace, that can constrict our creativity, our joy, our happiness. It really can't. Man, I've been walking through it myself. And that's something I always want to share with you. Whatever I'm teaching, I'm walking through it myself. It means that there have been a lot of ripples this week. There's been a lot of ripples. And the way that I perceive those ripples, sometimes I believe they can disturb my peace. And sometimes I think it's about other people. It never is. Any ripple I am perceiving is a byproduct of my perception of it. Remember, all those ripples, just like that chair from last week, they're all neutral. We're all seeing it differently. Some people love that chair, and some people will never want to sit in that chair. There's nothing wrong with the chair. It's preference. And sometimes it's fear. And so if we are a wave to the ocean and we're ever extending ourselves as the ocean, as an aspect of the divine, it says that mastery is the absence of fear, or it's the condition of fearlessness. Now that seems like a high call for we humans. And what I'm here to say is, when fear comes up, it's simply there to teach us something. It's simply there to show us where we believe or have imagined the absence of the presence of God. That's all. And we just pause and we take note. And it says in the reading that fear is dissolved by being looked upon with perfect innocence. We are each the scientists of our own lives. We're each exploring our own lives. As the readings suggest, what is working and what do we enjoy and what do we love? Well, great, more of that. But what are the things that we wish were different? And let us look at those things and identify where fear is constricting us. Fear is like that foam on the edge of the wave. So you've got the magnificence of the wave itself. But have you ever noticed there's that foam on the edge of it? That's what fear's like. And sometimes what we do is we focus completely, myopically, on that foam. And we miss the beauty and the grandeur of the wave itself. Anybody focus on what you're afraid of, myopically, such that it's even hard to have a gratitude practice? It's hard to think of what you're grateful for, right? And so what we're trying to do is, as the wave, begin to focus upon the grandeur of spirit extending through us, and to shift our focus, to turn it around, to turn that focus around and focus on that grandeur and not the fear. We look at it lovingly and we invite it and ask it, what's it here to teach us? What's it here to reveal to us? All fear is that constriction of our natural, innate creativity, joy, unlimitedness. And fear is going to say, look at that. It's going to say, this is dangerous. It's going to say, this is what we need to, any fixers in the room? This is what we need to fix. And usually it's you. And so, but what Yeshua says is, no, it's just information. We're not going to fight it. We're not going to judge it. And we're not going to fear fear. Yeshua's saying, oh, okay, it's neutral. And so when we consider it as being neutral, We might see what we've been afraid of, and we can do what the reading says. Do I want to continue this, or do I want to turn it around? Do I want something else? And our whole teaching is about that turning around. I'm going to come up for prayer after service, and I may say a few sentences of the condition I'm experiencing, because that helps us identify our fear. And then the prayer chaplain's going to say, perhaps a word of compassion, right? I hear you. I hear the challenge that you're going through. Now, what do you want? What do you desire? What would you like prayer for? So not what we're against, not what we're judging, not what we believe is cause in our life, but turning to cause. What do you want? What would you love? What do you desire? And then the prayer ensues. That's turning something around. And when we do that, we become willing to drop a different pebble into our experience. Every word the prayer chaplain is saying is an affirmative statement, just like our vision, just like our mission, just like our affirmations. Those are all affirmative statements that we're putting into the pool of our awareness. And they're rippling out. They ripple out, and then they return to us. Same with the prayer that is spoken. And so the invitation is to take these practices with you during the week, to return to what we might say is basic practice, moments of prayer and meditation and affirmation daily, throughout the day, returning to this, remembering that we get to choose, and that sometimes when we drop something in there that we don't like, not to judge ourselves, but to love ourselves, to see ourselves with innocence, and to thank God for the way it works, because it's reflecting to us exactly what we need to know. It's information. We're scientists. We're observing. We're pausing. What are you here to teach me? So, I got news for you. You might not like this. But actually, it's what makes us free. It's what makes us free to turn around. This is the law of cause and effect, right? Ocean, God is cause to the effect, the wave, you. We are as God created us. We are created as a creator. As a creator, then, we drop the pebbles and create our experience of life. Okay? Here's the deal, though. We think we're doing it individually and privately. Here's the news. There's no private thoughts, my loves. The ripples are evident in our lives. Sometimes those ripples are things that we don't want people to know that we think or feel. But here's the deal. It's out there. It's in the field. This is actually really good news, because when we begin to turn it around, those other ripples of love, of peace, of joy, they're evident too. And then they begin to be the messengers of what your life is about. Not only are you the creator of your experience, are we the creator we're the creator of our life. I found this on my desk. It's a membership badge. And it says Ella Mall. One of our community members who made her transition recently. And is the sadness that we feel that she's no longer physically present here. And I had the gift and the honor of being able to see and be present to and participate in her family's memorial of her on Saturday. Yes, last night. And If you want to know what the aggregate of your life is and who you are and what you want to be, imagine your own funeral. Imagine your own memorial. In ministerial school, we had to do this. We created our own service. We wrote our own obituary. And we imagined the end of this life experience. And we wrote what we would want and how we would want people to remember us. Our lives are just individually a series of the pebbles, the thoughts, the beliefs, the actions, the ideas that we're putting into the field, into the pool of our awareness. That's all it is. And when we get to the conclusion of this life experience, and remember, in Unity we believe life is eternal. It's like we walk out that exit door, what we call death, what we call transition, and we walk into another room called the narthex, called another iteration of the ever-evolving spirit that we are. And when we walk through that door, we can look back on our lives, and you know what? We can do it right now. And we can begin to consciously choose, not with regret, not with judgment, but with a glee and an excitement of the freedom to turn around whatever's going on in your life and create anew and create again. I got to hear the ripples of this individual named Ella, the pebbles that she dropped throughout her life. And because she was human, having a spiritual experience, there were challenges, of course. But those are grist for the mill. They help make us who we are in a given lifetime. And we all have them in this experience. But we get the opportunity in our aliveness, our awakeness, our awareness, to start from this day forward. Who am I going to be? How do I want to be remembered? And I have an idea. It isn't so much with accomplishments or resumes. It's infusing the essence of your gift in your being in every situation, whether it's family life, whether it's work life, whether it's this spiritual community. This is a celebration of our life. This is a celebration of the life of each of us in Unity Renaissance. We get to choose the ripples. We get to choose how we play. We get to choose how we create the character of our interactions, every single one of them. Every single one of them. Take a breath with me here. I think this is exciting. I've had this idea, like, let's talk, what kind of waves do we want to make? What kind of waves? How do you want to play? In a couple of moments, we're going to invite the children in, and they're going to fly up. They're going to fly up. Do you guys know what that is? Okay, they're going to fly up. They're going to fly. They're graduating into the next level. And we as a community are going to presence them as they do that and celebrate them as they do that. It's a threshold experience in life. There's millions of them. Our culture isn't that great at celebrating those. And yet, let's do it now. We're going to do it today. So my question to the community, or to you in your life, or to us as a community called Unity Run, how are we going to fly up? How are we going to fly up? What kind of waves are we going to be making? Are we going to be making waves of love? In unprecedented waves is showing up in this world? Are we going to be in high and holy service to our broader community, like our outreach program is, or serving our youth right here, or helping the sound and audio team to get our message out into the world? Or are you called to be a prayer chaplain? Like, there's a million ways to play here. There's a million ways to make some waves. And you know what? There are new ideas. I bet some of you have some new ideas. Bring them forth. How are we going to play? How are we going to fly up? How are we as individuals in a community going to be more impeccable and more conscious with the pebbles that we're dropping in to our lives, to our family lives, to our relational lives, to this community? And so I think it's a fabulous time to celebrate the children flying up. And you know what they know? That sometimes we forget because we get so serious, don't we, as adults? And seriousness is of the ego. We know that because it's about fear. It's about constriction. Playfulness, when you're at play, you're trusting. You're trusting mom and dad's got it all taken care of. You're trusting that you're free to play. You're trusting that no matter how you play or what pebbles you drop, you're trusting that you know that you're still going to be loved, no matter what you created. You can always recreate again. That's the beauty of this. And so the kids are teaching us as they fly up, may we take on the childlike nature of the playfulness of being at play in our lives. Being at play in the queendom, in the kingdom of God, here and now. And it's everywhere you are, every relationship you're in. And this is a relationship here. And so that's what I got today. That's what I got today. How you going to play? I asked you last week, how many times a day are you going to become aware of the pebbles that you're dropping? I said, pick a number. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember your number? How'd you do? Okay. So the other cool thing about our lives is it's like it's a big whiteboard. And let's go ahead and erase last week. Come on, erase it with me. Maybe you think you failed. Maybe you think you didn't do it right. Pick another number. How many times this week, a day, are you going to pause and consider what you're creating in your life? Anybody willing to write their obituary? Anybody willing to create their service? These are ideas, okay? But Reverend René, what am I supposed to do this week? These are ideas. And remember, it's on a video, so you can listen to it again. These are ideas for play, for practice, so that we can be about at play in the kingdom of God. So say with me, I and my Father are one. I am the creator of my experience.